From JA to UK to LA and everywhere else now, this is a podcast strictly influenced by Jamaican music, brought to you by Eric Kohler and Junor Francis. Well, if you're driving in your car or you're sitting home alone, the Junior entertain you on his microphone. The history of LA Ska. Yeah, hear stories from a guest while we all have a blast. From LA to Jamaica, it's in the podcast. The history of LA Ska. Of LA Ska, yeah. It's the history. Yes, it is. Of LA Ska. History of LA Ska, yeah. It's the history. Yes, it is. Of LA Ska. Of LA Ska. It's the history of LA Ska. One more time, yeah. It's the history of LA Ska.
Welcome to the History of LA Ska one-on-one sessions. I'm your host, Junor Francis, alongside our producer and my good friend, Eric Kohler. This series celebrates the ska, rocksteady, and vintage reggae scene in Southern California and beyond through insightful conversations with legends and modern-day talents, including those behind the scene and plenty of people working behind the scene. So we really and truly want to thank them. So therefore, whether you listen to this podcast series, watch us on YouTube, thanks for your support. Always thanks. And please remember to subscribe, comment, share, and tell not just one friend, but as many friends as you possibly can. Therefore, we present our San Diego Ska episode with two veterans of the scene, John Roy and Steve Kader.
Kader.
Steve Kader. Sorry for slaughtering.
He's been called worse.
Yeah,
Gentlemen.
Steve.
Steve, John, how are you?
Fantastic.
Good to see you guys. Respect always.
Yes, thank you both for joining. John, you were our guest as we were talking off air on episode 38 back in May of 2022. So we encourage everyone to check out that one as well. We really appreciate you guys taking the time. We're looking forward to learning more about the San Diego ska scene, primarily from the 80s and 90s. Obviously, we want to hear about what everyone is doing these days, and just a few of the influential groups. And don't hate me for missing any of these, because we'll expand upon this. But ones that we're familiar with: Gangbusters, The Big Express, Unsteady, Spy Kids, Smoke Mirrors Soundsystem. Again, just to name a few. With that, gentlemen, if it's okay with you, we'll dive in.
Is your ska or reggae baptism? That's usually a question we use as a jump off question.
Steve, will start with our first time guest.
Well, thank you. Good to be amongst friends and family and all that. And I just real quick, kind of sad, bittersweet day, but I'm sure we're going to go into it. We want to say rest in peace to Master Jimmy Cliff passed earlier today. So I just in realizing, even outside of Jamaican music world and ska music world and reggae world, how he touched his message and everything he did. He touched people even outside of music world. Yeah. And I think it's a beautiful thing, even too, outside of our bubble of ska music, reggae music, rocksteady music. I see all these different people posting how The Harder They Come soundtrack changed their lives for the better. So, I think John will agree and everybody will agree. We're going to dedicate this segment to Jimmy Cliff.
Yeah.
That's the soundtrack that really introduced people to reggae before Bob Marley. The song before that was Millie Small, that really and truly opened the door to Jamaican music. And then maybe Desmond Dekker played an important role, but really and truly, The Harder They Come, especially in the English-speaking countries that were colonized by England throughout Africa, Caribbean. It was really the soundtrack. That's it.
The
music.
Jamaican music, interesting. I grew up in a real liberal household. My dad, who passed away a year ago, who was just a real interesting character. My dad was a beatnik in the 50s, so I was just exposed to amazing music going back, when I was growing up, bebop jazz, Latin jazz, mambo, folk blues, amazing music. So my dad was always kind of ahead of the curve with musics and things like that. And I mean, I remember even scene in the 70s. My dad was an antique. My dad had normal jobs and work in TV and radio and different things. But I remember on the side, my dad always dealt antiques on the side. And then in the 70s, my dad was an interesting guy. He started dealing in vintage clothing, which was kind of cool. Yeah. And so he would buy vintage clothing, sell it. There weren't that many vintage clothing stores. He would go to Los Angeles to the Rose Bowl swap meet and meet up with friends. But my dad actually, like in the 70s, I remember as a kid, my dad would sell clothing in the late 70s to the Mods, the Rude Boys, wow. The Punks, the Rockabillys, early, Rastafarians, all that. It was interesting because if you think about it, that's the days when the thrift stores were plentiful, and maybe we couldn't afford, doing this, that, whatever, and you wanted some nice kind of retro sort of clothing. So, anyways, wow. But so my dad knew, like, I would see these people. This was kind of interesting, but actually, I would say I got into reggae music like a lot of people before ska music. I remember probably in the late 70s, early 80s, hearing things like the Blondie, The Tide Is High,
yep.
The Police, Joe Jackson, Elvis Costello,
sure.
The Clash, Eric Clapton, I Shot the Sheriff. So it was very like intriguing to me. This is late 70s. Moving a little bit forward, early 80s, it was reggae before ska. The two bands, interesting, they're both British bands. The two bands that really made an impact on me were UB40, the early UB40,
yep.
who it's just, when we heard UB40 in about 81 or 82, it was just like such a revelation.
True.
It was like, what is this? It's, these songs, and it was just, it was very interesting to me and intriguing. I got to see UB40. I think the first UB40 show I saw here was in 82. And I mean, UB40 still the live show. UB40 is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, they set a standard. The other band that really intrigued me was Steel Pulse. How they just, and I read about them, and it was interesting, them, being of Jamaican origin, but being from England. And as much as they played with reggae bands, they played with punk rock bands.
Yeah, right. True.
It was like, that was the thing. I mean, they were playing with, all the bands, and they were friends with the Clash, and they were friends with the Ruts, and they were friends with Johnny Rotten, and they were friends with, so that was just really intriguing. I got to see Steel Pulse play. I mean, with, David and Grizzly on drums, and, the original band.
Sure.
And it just like blew me away. It's like, what is this? Another kind of cool thing a lot of us noticed was, if you look on when later we got into being Rude Boys and Mods, if you look on the Steel Pulse record, True Democracy, two of the members of the band are wearing monkey boots.
Oh, right. Okay.
What is that?
Yeah.
Have to look.
They're wearing monkey boots. So it's like, we're like, how cool is this? It's like, our Rude Boy, what we pride ourselves in, and right. in our clothing. And it's like, they're, that kind of struck a chord with me and meant something to me.
No, that's super cool. Well, I mean, listen, UB40 and Steel Pulse, the impact that they had and influence they had on America, it's just, enormous. Definitely the gateways for a lot of people, including myself. John?
Yeah.
John,
I can, that's kind of reggae, and then we'll let, actually John can go, and then I can kind of, I'll seg into ska music.
Okay, let's do that.
I remember Steve's outfit consisted of monkey boots 100% of the time for a good 5 years.
No, it was all about
what the hell is monkey boots. All about those.
So I can follow the conversation.
For me, my sister Sabrina is 7 years older than I am. So when I was 11, she was 18, and 17, then 18. She had the car. I'm going where she's going if she'll take me with her.
Right.
Even to the first rehearsals for our, the first band we were in together too. But Sabrina always took me to Off the Record in San Diego, Blue Meanie in El Cajon,
right.
and Lou's Records in Encinitas. So it was, for $4 worth of gas for mowing lawns. And if I held on to $20 or $30, I could get all the records that actually Steve was mentioning. I bought, Police, Regatta de Blanc, Synchronicity, I bought True Democracy. But I also bought every Clash album.
Mm.
And then at the same time, yes, UB40 and Labor of Love. It looked so much like 20 Reggae Classics, the album, to me.
Right.
And it was Dave Allard that Steve knew quite well too at Lou's. I was like, what should I buy? You know, like a 12-year-old kid walking in the door kind of thing. And
right.
And Dave's like, well, what do you like? I'm like, I like that UB40 record. Well, here's where it came from. So buy those 20 Reggae Classics and you can actually see, you know, The Tide is High, but a John Holt version.
Yeah, right.
You know, like, oh, I see. Oh, so all this stuff, like all the specials, all this madness, this is all covers of all the original people. I didn't realize that. At first I was like, this is amazing.
Right.
Right. Like all these records are amazing that I bought, but I need to taste the original stuff. So yeah, that got me wasting all of my lawn mowing and paper route money from that point forward.
And you still have them, right? You know that they have
big
value now. Oh yeah,
big
value. They cost a fortune now.
I don't have anything near Steve's incredible collection because he's a master picker of this stuff. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
I just have my my desert island crates, only like 4 or 5 crates.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But real deep classics.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yes,
indeed.
sir. So, question for both of you.
Steve, did you wanted to touch on on your entry point to ska?
I wanted to go into ska, and I'm a little bit older than John, but he'll agree with me probably with his sister. To me, the gateway year for Southern California for ska music was 1982. That was a year, for some reason, like the stars were aligned. So before I was a rude boy, I was a mod.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, being a mod, you know, we listened to, you know, soul music and R&B, and you know, you've talked about it with people in previous episodes, you know, how there was really, you know, basically to me, the mod scene and the ska scene in Southern California, you know, they were the same thing. You know, those bills, all the bands, you know, played together. It was just all the same. We all listened. It didn't really, you know, it didn't really matter. But 82, I think, was a big year because the emergence of 91X and K-Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, you know, those of us in the US, we miss the specials, we miss the selector, right. And because, you know, they had already basically they were about to implode. You know, they did. I mean, the specials played like, you know, twice in LA. I think of the Whiskey. The selector played there, you know, once, and they imploded. But the ones who were played like so much on 91X and K-Rock, the two bands were the English Beat and Bad Manners.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, those Special Beat Service and the Bad Manners record, I apologize, I forget the name of it, but I mean, they were playing Samson and Delilah, I mean, on the radio, and That'll Do Nicely. I mean, those were big K-Rock songs.
Yeah.
So the Beat and Bad Manners were kind of keeping the flame, and they were massive in Southern California.
True.
So that happened. 82, I never made it to the On Club, but 82, I became aware of like that short window that the On Club was happening. And it's like, whoa, there's actually a club,
right,
you know, that caters to us like mods and rude boys. Didn't make it. And then 82, John touched on them, you know, friends and mentors and all that. But I know John touched on a past episode was finding about these two bands up the road named the Untouchables and Fishbone,
mm-hmm.
who just, you know, again, like, sadly, we love the specials. We love the selector. We love those bands, but, you know, we couldn't get a taste of it. So like to us, I'm going to take words from my friend John's brain here. You know, we had the Untouchables and Fishbone, and that was our representation. And we were religiously every Untouchables and Fishbone show. I mean, within San Diego County, it didn't matter. They would play 2-3 times a year, and we would see those bands. And before we were in bands, I remember we would study those bands. And so that was kind of our, you know, baptism into like ska being like a major part of our lives.
So when Untouchables and Fishbone would pass through San Diego County, would there be local San Diego bands that would open for them?
They would normally before, and then we'll talk about the progression of ska. Untouchables and Fishbone, there was really, and again, I'm going to give respect here too, that we talk about the history of ska in San Diego. There were like bands that were playing ska music going back all the way to the late like 70s. There was a band called Trousers,
Okay. Yep.
who started as early as like 79. And they played ska. I mean, it was one of the first ska bands in California, but they weren't all a ska band. I mean, they did reggae, they did kind of new wavy stuff. They were inspired by the Clash and things like that. There were some other bands. There was a band who was actually big on the radio on 91X. They opened up for Madness here and the Clash. There was a band called Anyone. They had a big song. It was a ska song. It was called 123.
What were they called?
They were called Anyone.
The letter N, the letter E, and the number 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
And John and all of us like knew about like this band. We knew they were older than us, but they played ska, but then they would play, jump swing. They would play rockabilly. They would kind of mix it up, So I would say they were about 40-50% ska. There were some other bands. There was a band that played a few gigs called I Spy.
Right.
With some friends of mine. That was a real early band. There was another band called the Defendants. But going back to your original question, in terms of openers for ska bands, they were basically mod bands. The big mod band here was called Manual Scan. Bart Mendoza, who's like a legend in the mod scene, he was friends with them. So they would have mod bands because there weren't like really 100% ska bands till 3 years later. So yeah.
Okay. Fascinating.
Yeah, interesting. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, how and when did you guys meet?
So Steve put up a flyer that he'd made asking for the number 6, the letter T, apostrophe S, 60s soul band seeking horn section or horn players in the band room of Patrick Henry High School. He was 17 or turning 18, and I was 15.
Wow.
I was a freshman in high school. And of course, I didn't have a driver's license or had a vehicle yet. So my sister would drive me to rehearsals.
What a good sister.
Yeah. So a lot of the tunes that I still love and still play are the first tunes I learned. Fun story, Steve gave me a demo tape, or a mixtape, and it was like, here's some tunes. Learn these tunes for this Big Express rehearsal, for this band Big Express. And none of the tunes were actually the tunes that we played that day.
So, Steve, was that done on purpose?
I don't think so.
So I failed miserably at the first tryout, and they gave me another chance. And I'm like, oh, tell me what the tunes are in the set. And I took the set home and then memorized all the tunes for the next rehearsal.
Okay, wait. So that's the Big Express. So what year would that?
Yeah, 86.
86. Yeah, same year officially.
Right. And was that the first group that either of you were in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my singing history, I come from like also John, I come from somewhat of a musical background. My grandfather was in vaudeville and in Yiddish theater back east, and he was a hoofer, a dancer, and a song pitcher. And like a lot of people, he wanted to do it full time. And my grandmother said, you need to pick between getting a real job or your family. And he decided to work in the food service industry and raise a family, and was quite successful and did that. But we always had a piano in our household, and he wrote poetry and he sang. My dad, as I said, was a beatnik in the 50s and always into jazz. My dad played drums for a while, but then he'd rather move on to other things. But my dad was a radio disc jockey and a bunch of things like that. So it was around, and I don't know. I just they got me in synagogue in the choir, and I guess when kids are squirming and eking in choir, I guess I knocked it out the park in the choir, and I guess I got 5 stars at my bar mitzvah or something like that, supposedly. So when everybody's like horrible bar mitzvahs. I guess I did a job. And anyways, people said, you should get in bands. And this band, our first band, really cool. It was called the Big Express. And at that point in the mod scene, most of the bands were, all of like the Jam and the Who and things like that.
Yeah.
And these guys, this guy Jaime Muldoon on guitar. I'm sorry, Jaime Muldoon. What did Jaime play, John?
Jaime played guitar.
Yeah. Chris Childers was on bass.
Yeah.
And it was two brothers, Alfred and Robert, who were singers. They all went to high school at La Jolla High, and they were like, the mods, and we're mods, are listening to soul music. No one's doing soul music. Let's do like classic 60s soul music. And they put this band together. They put an ad in the Reader, which was a entertainment newspaper down here. Music, like you guys had the Recycler and the LA Weekly. They put an ad for wanted singer, influences and all that. And I had never been in a band in my life. My similar story to John. My dad took me down to, John remembers, they had a funky little rehearsal studio in Ocean Beach, California. It was like a funky rehearsal studio.
It was across the street from the Hells Angels Dago Choppers Harley store.
Correct.
Yeah, pretty wild.
So we're teenagers and we're all sweaty in this little room. And I went in there and they told me the songs they wanted. And I kind of did a semi-rehearsal. I went back the next rehearsal and I auditioned and they said, we want you. So it was myself, Alfred sang some of the songs, Alfred sang some of the songs. And then they asked me about horn players. And I had seen John around at high school, us kind of mods and rude boys and punks and all that kind of migrated, and we're 1 degree of separation. And actually, when I put that out in the band room, John kind of popped up. And I remember John had a trench coat on and some buttons and things like that. And so John kind of popped up. I'm like, okay, you're younger. I know you. And anyways, that happened. And then we were in the Big Express.
and how many years was the Big Express around?
I was asked to leave the band, whatever, but it's fine. And they continued as the Big Express and the Sharkskin. But I think I was in the band maybe like a year and a half, 2 years. And John, you were there longer, right?
Yeah, I did a couple years. But then I started gigging with like all kinds of other bands.
So such as
different styles.
Okay.
Just anything that would have me. There was the Sears Brothers was like they were doing Springsteen and stuff like that. And anything that I could play a horn on, I was going to give it a shot. And also once I got a car, that was it. I was playing everywhere. Then I became the sax whore for hire with everyone.
The Big Express though was like, it was good for John and myself. I mean, we were young and our parents would let us like, go and do gigs and then out of town gigs. So the Big Express, the legendary venue Fender's Ballroom in Long Beach, that was our initiation into the mod ska scene.
Yeah,
playing incredible shows.
Right.
Actually, the promoter there is Paul T.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Golden Voice.
So respect to Paul T from Golden Voice and Paul's band Perry, Paul's brother, had a band. Paul T from Golden Voice, was pretty much in the 80s and the early 90s. He was the mod ska promoter in the Los Angeles area, man.
Yeah.
And Perry had another Chardon Square was Perry's band, and we'd play these fun shows with Big Express. We'd play with Chardon Square, The Question, The Key, the early No Doubt shows when it was Gwen and John, and there was a bass player before Tony, I remember. And
the UTs and also Jaywalkers.
Yeah. Right. So after Big Express, what was the next ska or mod group that either of you were in?
We did Citizen X with Steve Stedham, the pro skater.
Is that the name of a band as well?
Citizen X.
Citizen X, yeah.
Right. So many very creative names.
We were in a band, Citizen X, and it was almost like I don't know. It was interesting, but it just, to me, it was almost like a baby Fishbone, if you will, or whatever. And I liked that band, but I didn't feel like everybody was on the same page. Gangbusters, like our core years, like everybody was on the same page, and it was amazing. Whereas Citizen X, it was fun. It was a different thing, but it was just, if you're trying to be Fishbone and you're playing with Fishbone,
you're not
very hard. Don't even go there.
Don't try. Yeah.
Don't Fishbone of that era, like
oh my gosh,
between Party at Ground Zero and Truth and Soul and whatever. Right. And
everybody is game.
Everybody is my friend. It's like
second place to no one but James Brown, Fishbone.
Yeah, just like
James Brown.
Yeah, don't go there.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys, what legend did you see perform in the early days? Legend, I get from England, I guess, and Jamaica.
Any legends passed through that you remember?
We got lucky to open for them with Gangbusters often.
Oh,
and who was that?
Oh well, we opened for Selector. We opened for Bad Manners. Steve will get the rest of it. We opened for Aggrolites.
Doesn't get any bigger. All right.
Keep going, Steve. Give me some more.
Yeah, gosh. I mean, so many bands. I mean, we played interesting shows. I mean, we played with Pato Banton a few times.
Yeah.
We played with Shabba Ranks, like at his peak. That was pretty. That was quite interesting.
And that's with Gangbusters.
Yeah, Gangbusters.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. HR from Bad Brains.
Fishbone, of course.
I mean, Fishbone, the Untouchables, the Mighty Boss Tones.
Bim Scala Bim back in the day too.
Bim Scala Bim.
Yeah.
We played with Potato 5. We did a little tour with them.
Yeah.
Potato 5 was an awesome band. I mean, we heard those Jesse Jackson and those records, and I thought Potato 5
was the weekend we were supposed to do where Laurel Aiken was supposed to be there, but he couldn't make it. That was made me so sad. I wanted to check him.
One of my best memories. I went with my buddy Kevin Manuel, who was one of the co-founders of Gangbusters, the guitar player, with us. One of my best memories. We played with a different version, but I believe it was that tour it was 87 or 88 when Bunny Wailer came out of retirement.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We went to see, I mean, that was such a big deal because Bunny was coming out of retirement.
Right.
And the show was, Ross Michael actually opened the show, which was nice. And then.
Where was that?
You talking about the Irvine one?
That was at San Diego State Open Air Theater.
Also, the
Scatolites played that one?
They did. And the cool story, so I think that was promoted by, promoted by Avalon Moss Jacobs with Makeda, and Makeda and Damage were emceeing, and it was nice. So before he goes on, and the band that come up, Bunny comes out and he says, "I'm going to make this short and sweet. Thank you. I'm blessed to be here. You're blessed to be here." And he goes, "The gentleman and lady I'm about to bring to the stage, this is a very special moment." And he goes, "If it wasn't for everybody about to appear on this stage," he goes, "I would not be here." And he goes, "I present to you the original Scatolites."
Wow.
So we saw the Scatolites.
That's amazing.
Bunny
did that. So Bunny welcomed them on stage.
He welcomed on stage. Wow. And that was, I think they did that one tour with everybody that was still alive just because of Bunny. And that was Jackie Matu on keyboards.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Jackie, I know Jackie would do the occasional tour with Sugar Minot and whatever, but, I know Jackie kind of had a reputation as, he was in Canada, but he didn't really, in terms of the touring thing, like wasn't him. And he would rather go to Jamaica, and record and do dates and things like that. Anyways, so that was, John, you could chime in if I'm missing anybody, but I think I got it pretty much correct. That was Jackie Matu on keyboards. That was a Nibs and Brevet on drums and bass. That was Jaw Jerry on guitar. That was Dorian Schaefer singing. And the horn players were Roland Alfonso, Tommy McCook, Lester Sterling, and Dizzy Moore, and Cedric Brooks. Did I miss anybody, guys?
Well, Dan didn't make it because he was incarcerated. He had died by then, but he was he was a key player during the ska era.
Don was not there, but to my knowledge, I think that was at the time that was all the living. That was the living musicians, man.
Did you see this package at Irvine?
Yes, man.
Right.
But I was far away. I couldn't see the outside.
Yeah.
I saw them in New York. There was something had happened in New York where they were raising money for a youngster, and so I saw almost the same outfit
right there.
And then all the horn players in the New York tri-state area came out. So the house was just full of horns. Can't be duplicated.
Very, very blessed. So so Steve, Gangbusters and John, Gangbusters played the Reseda Country Club.
Yes, we did a couple of those. Yeah,
talk about that hot spot. I know that's not in San Diego County, but it's certainly a hot spot for ska back in the day.
Yeah, let's see. Well, one of those gigs was Toasters, Crucial DBC. I'm sure Steve will remember the rest of the bill off the flyers too. I just remember that it was very much a heavy metal place to go and a hair metal place to go.
Right.
But like, okay, I guess there's a ska show this day. That was very interesting. That and the stage being set up in a corner. If you remember that, it wasn't like a typical stage in the center of the room. It was set up at a diagonal, if you remember that. It was very interesting.
Wow.
I think I've gone here to see Shaggy. I'm not sure.
I don't think I've ever been there. So unfortunately, yeah. What are some of the other highlights from Gangbusters? I mean, you mentioned just a slew of bands that you all opened for, but did Gangbusters leave California and go on tour?
They never did. No.
We never did.
No. The only way we left California was we went to Tijuana. So
on shows.
Iguanas in Tijuana. It's the Daddy Longlegs Gangbusters Fishbone show at Iguanas in Tijuana. In my memory is reminiscent of Woodstock in this way, is that the place could only hold 2,000 people, but I know I've talked to 5,000 people that say they were there because it was an incredible show. I mean,
I can imagine. How many bands again?
Just 3. Gangbusters, Daddy Longlegs, and Fishbone.
Yeah.
And Daddy Longlegs.
What happened to those
fans
in across the border? They died away, fizzled away, outgrow the music.
Sorry,
are they still not in Tijuana?
Yeah,
he's talking about ska fans and
oh yeah, there's still people that want to hear ska in Tijuana for sure.
Relatively small though.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think San Diego has a relatively small ska scene. Right. You know, currently, I try to appeal to whomever. But since I love reggae and I've always loved soul and I love ska,
sure,
it's like we're gonna do it all. I mean, we'll even do cumbia. You know, like make it all part of the mix.
Absolutely.
Like if it brings more people in the door that will enjoy it, or even folks that have no idea what it is they're listening to. If we can be their first entrance into this music, that's what we're going to do.
Good music is good music.
Yeah.
Steve, what flyer were you going to show right there?
Oh, I was going to show you. I showed you Fishbone, but I dug these out. Here's Iguanas, and here's this is another iconic show. This is Bad Manners, Donkey Show, and Gangbusters.
Yes.
Oh, right. Wow. Yeah.
So that's the name of a club.
Iguanas. Yeah.
Iguanas was a club, man, and I mean
in TJ.
In Tijuana, but literally like in TJ, but literally like 5 minutes walking across the border in a shopping center called Pueblo Amigo.
Yeah.
And it was Bill Silva, the concert promoter, originally booked it for the first 6 months to a year. And Bill Silva partially did shows there.
Yeah.
And then a friend, Harlan Schiffman, who had a company, Fine Line Entertainment, he did a lot of the shows there. And I mean, it was only there for about 4 or 5 years, but besides the ska bands, I mean, everybody played there from Nirvana to the Chili Peppers to the Ramones to Delight to, I mean, it just like goes on.
Bad
and on.
Brains.
So,
Bad Brains was a big one.
Bad Brains. I wanted I wanted to add, I'll go in a brief thing at Gangbusters. You were talking about the country club. That was an interesting place too. A lot of people don't realize, but the club scenes in the movie Boogie Nights, that's a country club.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
That's the vibe right there.
It's kind of interesting.
There we go.
But we so Gangbusters, I'll just kind of talk about what happened with Gangbusters, because John and myself moved on to different things, and he was doing the bands, and then it was like I more got into being a rude boy, and we were like, that's when the ska thing, like about 86, 87, it was really happening. And there was a band who, I mean, in a good way, the similar to LA, but the ska scene in the 80s, it was like very incestuous, like with the musicians, but in a good way, because we all people bounce around in different bands and whatever. To my knowledge, the first ska band in San Diego, when I mentioned those bands who played ska, but the first pure ska band was a band. They were from North Carolina. They were called Multiple Choice. And Multiple Choice played like 90% ska music. The trombone player from that band, Bronco, went on then to Donkey Show, and the keyboard player, VJ Victor Heath from that band, was then the keyboard player from to Gangbusters. And then Derek Tarr, who was the sax player and Multiple Choice, went to Gangbusters. And then what's his name? Mike was in Spy Kids, right? Was he?
No.
Okay, I got it wrong. Okay, I like the singer. Sorry. Anyways, one I got wrong, but so Multiple Choice was kind of, to me, the first band to play pure ska, and we would see them, and they were cool. But then,
what time period are you talking about? No, what time period?
This is Multiple Choice, John, is what, like 80, like 80, 85, 80, 86, John, right? Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't playing in a band yet, so I'm thinking 84, 85, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And they were in North County. But then kind of between the period of John and myself at the end, when we were kind of moving on from Big Express, we heard about this pure ska band popped up called Donkey Show. And it was kind of interesting, and they were friends of friends. Dave Hilliard from, Donkey Show and all the brilliant things, Dave does, is a very old friend of John and myself. And again, the whole incestuous thing. Jaime from Big Express, the band we were in, Dave Hilliard and Jaime Muldoon, Big Express, and Dave Hilliard, later Donkey Show, were best friends and went to high school together. So then we were tipped to this new band, Donkey Show, and I went to a few rehearsals, and I was like, whoa, this is kind of, interesting. So that kind of planted the seed in my mind to reconnect with John and my friend Kevin Manuel, who was involved with the punk rock and the hardcore scene, but he was getting more involved with like skinhead culture now and listening to oi music and ska music and rocksteady music.
Right.
I was like, whoa, let's reconnect with John, bring Kevin in the mix, and let's form a pure ska band. Thus, Gangbusters was born.
And Gangbusters was formed what year?
John answers.
Well, was it 89 or like late 88, early 89?
I want to say 87.
No, because Citizen X was 87.
Okay, so I want to say 88.
And lasted approximately how long?
Well, I'm sorry, what was the question?
Lasted how long? How long the band lasted for?
The core band lasted, which was my favorite version of the band. The core band lasted like 3 years. The band, people kind of left and whatever. Yeah, and by the end, I was the only original member around like 91 or something like that, and our sound was kind of changing, and it was time to kind of hang it up. But the core band was 88 to 91 with the core pure ska rocksteady reggae band. Yeah,
we actually all played together in 92 still. So by that time, I was playing in a band called Unsteady, and the other band I'd play with Kevin was Colorblind, and then Gangbusters. So we had Unsteady opening for Colorblind, opening for Gangbusters. And all 3 sets were playing songs that I wrote. And it made me giggle. I loved it. It was great.
You know,
It's kind of like a
you guys
family
talk
reunion.
about 3 years as being shot. That's the lifetime of the Scatolites.
Yeah.
And send countless people to stardom.
I mean, in those
Wailers, Scatolites,
And-
Justin Hans and the Dominoes,
you're
Wilson.
you're young and you think about it, like so much was packed into those 3 years. It's like, it's crazy. I mean, there was like so many shows and playing with our legends and recording a record. We will talk about that in a little bit. And being on, we were on some compilation records. We were on Unicorn was a label from England who was like kind of half mod bands and half ska bands. And we run, I have it here. What volume is it? It's volume 5. It was called Skanking Around the World.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, hold on, I have
Let
one.
me see.
Skanking Around the World.
Yeah, right. I've
So
seen that. I don't have that, but I've seen it.
yeah, Skanking Around the World, and Unicorn was really supportive of American ska bands. Donkey Show is on one of the comps. I'm trying to think. I want to say New York Citizens and some of those bands, but that was a good thing. And then we talked about, sadly, the copies keep disappearing. We Eric or myself had the photo. Wait, I could. Do you want to pull it up?
I'll pull it up.
Yeah.
This compilation, right? California Skyquake.
That's it.
I think I have a CD of it somewhere, but
Yeah,
I
have a
can't
CD.
find it. It's in a crate
So the
somewhere.
name Scaquake has been used before, because I think there's a promoter now who use similar.
Skyquake. Well, there were a couple. There was volumes 1 and 2
Yeah.
that came out.
So that's probably where the name
Yeah.
came from.
Yeah,
Oh,
right. That's where
okay.
that's probably where
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
So Scottquake Volume 1 to me on Moon Records, that was a game changer. I mean, I think for an independent release, that sold a lot of Rob Hingley's probably quite a happy man with the sales for that record.
Well,
because I mean, he all those bands from California. I mean, he nailed the Gangbusters and No Doubt and Jump with Joey, and you guys could read the bands on there. He got a lot of great bands on there, which probably would be quite hard today. And I mean, that gave a lot of bands their platform, their platform to move on to things. So yeah.
No, it's so true.
And were those songs being played on radio?
Yeah.
Wow, so that's all. Yeah, of course. You're gonna move.
That's John's.
A lot of volumes.
That's John's Bad Attitude, right? John can tell you about the longevity of Bad Attitude. I mean, it seems to every few years, right, John? It gets
it just pops up over and over again. Yeah.
Gangbusters are the Unsteady version.
Yeah.
If John has a legacy, I mean, probably in a good way, John gets, oh, you're the guy, you're the Bad Attitude, guy. So that's amazing, man.
And the royalty checks are rolling in, John.
Oh yeah, huge. It's like 10 cents at a time. It's amazing. Yeah.
Right. Since you touched on Donkey Show, talk about their importance for San Diego ska and that wave of ska. John,
me or Steve?
John,
I hear both.
I would say Steve might be able to speak to it more, but just the fact that, honestly, in San Diego, the fact that there would be at least 2 bands playing ska music, so we could help create a ska show and have like 2 support bands.
Yeah, right.
For if a Bad Manners came through or a Reformed Selector came through, anybody or any East Coast band came through. It's like, hey, we can actually have a show here. Don't pass us by.
So that was really strategic thinking.
Yeah, like San Diego feels like an also ran compared to LA. Like, oh, we don't know if we can make it because there's not enough money for us to come to LA. We might be able to make it to San Francisco and LA, or LA all the way up to Santa Barbara. I mean, that's kind of where Tijuana was a really good factor. If you couldn't do San Diego,
Right.
you could do a place like Iguanas for Fine Line, and that would be a 2,000 capacity room. And if you get a bill of 3 to 5 bands, you can actually get bodies in the door and make shows happen. Unless, of course, I'm sure you had the same thing for the universities in LA. In San Diego, we had UCSD and SDSU.
The colleges, yes.
And so the college towns, we had open air theater, Montezuma Hall, Price Center Ballroom, the steps outside at UCSD. Yeah, the back door. Like, these were places that could go from 150, 200 people all the way to 3,000 people.
Wow.
And if you had university money, for instance, if the UC school system had a budget for the ASB,
you can play noontime lunch or something.
Yeah, like somebody who has the programming director gig for the year or two could make some cool decisions to get better shows.
Right.
Yeah.
That's key.
You know, we have to encourage people to go back to those days, because I was involved.
Yeah.
Mount Sac, in Mercer College in Pomona, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no man. The UC.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Cal Poly, Pomona.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we had people organize concerts.
Yeah, no, that's important.
Lunchtime.
It's important for discussion.
All you need is a person who love the music and say, yeah, this is what we want.
Yeah.
And get them to support it.
Yeah.
To me, like, Donkey Show was like a revelation. Like, what they were doing, they were playing original ska and reggae music show. Ray and Kim, the singers, had a real good like interaction between each other.
Yeah.
Ray was great. The songs were original. I really used to respect, and I used to talk about people in Gangbusters. Donkey Show had a really good work ethic too. Like, I knew, like, and John Roy, respecting my friend John Roy, it's like they prided themselves. They rehearsed like hardcore, like they were jazz musicians or something like that. You know, they were really into it. And at one point, I mean, some of the band was in LA, Orange County, some was in San Diego. They would drive to wherever that was in Whittier or whatever for rehearsals.
Right.
And they were like, we wanted to get to that level, and we were trying, but it just didn't work out. But Donkey Show went on a tour. They went on like 2 tours, national tours, man, to New York, and they were doing those things. And I mean, things we aspired to when you're kids in the 80s. I mean, you know, they went out with like a small tour bus, or, you know, they, you know, had a van and whatever. They had a tour manager and things. When you're teenagers, it's like, whoa, we'd like to get to the level. So Donkey Show actually did that. Right. They put out a 45. They put out a record. And also in LA, I'd like to say with Donkey Show too, you know, at one point, I mean, Donkey Show, like the Paul T shows, like the ska shows, they were headlining those shows, man. They were headlining the John Anson Ford Theater. They were consistently headlining the Roxy and the Whiskey and those rooms. And it's kind of an urban myth. You know, No Doubt eventually got, you know, very sad, you know, when it happened with, you know, John Spence and things. I'm sorry, John. What was that? It was John. Was that?
Yeah, it was John Spence.
Yeah. John Spence. Yeah. I mean, you know, when John Spence and Gwen in No Doubt, you know, that was a, you know, great dynamic in him and the backflips and all that. He was kind of giving Angelo a little bit of a run for his money for a minute. But one of the urban myths was funny. I talked to some of the Donkey Show guys, and eventually, you know, I think the labels at that point were kind of sniffing around to find a SKA band, you know, to sign. And
one name that comes up over and over and over in the podcast, Donkey Show.
Yeah, Interscope went with No Doubt, but
they did something right.
It's very, very, very Donkey Show kind of. Ray left, and what's her name from Bim Scala Bim came in, and some of the members changed, but you know, they were sniffing around at Donkey Show also. You know, there was like Dave Hilliard told me the other day, like there was a show in San Diego with Fishbone, Crucial DBC, and Donkey Show, and you know, there was like 1 or 2 A&R guys there, and you know, maybe nothing ever came of it, but and again, going back to that, yeah, it was awesome because a lot of those shows, they would kind of flip flop, like some of the shows in LA moving on to the bigger venues. one show, Donkey Show at headline, No Doubt would play below the next show,
right,
etc. And
right.
you know, I'm happy. You know, No Doubt, that's awesome. You know, for all their success. And that was another band that they had a very good work ethic, like Donkey Show. And sadly, Donkey Show people left and it imploded. So there you go.
There we go.
So here's a question for both of you. What were some popular San Diego area venues that feature ska? I know you touched on it briefly, but are there any ones that you didn't talk about that you want to showcase or bring up?
Tim Mays has always been kind to me and whatever I'm doing. He said a few times, he's like, I don't really like ska, but I'll take you guys. So, and he's been more open to it. But the Casbah, Tim Mays at the Casbah, it's legendary now.
Yeah.
Which is like, people say, wow, that place is so old. I'm like, it's not that old. I played there when it first opened. I was sitting outside. I wasn't old enough to go in, but yeah, that's a legendary spot. All the other places kind of fell by the wayside, of course, except for the Belly Up Tavern, which is also, that's legendary and still one of the best places.
Been here for a significant number of years.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
Steve, what was that venue that you sent me a photo at some point of what it looks like now? Some spot that closed down. Somewhere maybe downtown San Diego.
Ooh.
Is that ringing a bell?
Ugh.
Well, I remember there was Lair's Greenhouse for a while. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
That had strange shows, but it was always kind of metal stuff. We played Club Mirage with Big Express. That felt like very gangstery. Spirit Club, it was all shag carpet in there. It smelled horrible.
Right.
Now that's Brick by Brick, actually.
Yeah.
On Buenos.
Yep.
So Gangbusters, the rooms we used to work, and I have pretty darn good memory. John and Junor were right. The college scene in the late 80s, it was like really like active, like even USD, another college, like there was always, it seemed to be like there was a pub on I think things have maybe changed, but there was like a pub on campus. There was always nooner shows.
UCSD Triton Pub.
Yeah, Triton Pub. That's like there's a pretty interesting video of us playing, and that's at the Triton Pub at UCSD. That's a fun video that's on YouTube. But the colleges, again, like UCSD had Price Center Ballroom. It had Triton Pub. They did shows outside at the Price Center. John's right. San Diego State, they had Montezuma Hall. They had the back door. They would do the nooner shows. Some of the other venues I remember, it was a lot of John and myself played them both in Big Express and Gangbusters. There was a lot of hall shows too. Like they would rent out a lot of,
Sure.
all of like the punk rock scene in the early 80s. There was a lot of, like an old, like a hall, like a Masonic hall or like a dance hall or like a dance studio, things like
Elks
that.
Lodge, Arthur Murray Dance Studio. Yeah, I remember that too.
So I think we should put the word out there to encourage students, to, I guess, find ways to bring bands on campus if they want to,
absolutely. There's a lot of tuition money
for generations to come, eh?
Yeah,
there's a lot of tuition money out there.
Yeah, right.
Bring it back,
Right. Yeah. Right. Get active on campus.
A lot of clubs were short-lived. I'll jog John's memory. There was a club that was literally like the size of a big walk-in closet.
2581.
It was called 2581, and it was around like a year and a half. We played 2 or 3 shows there, and those were like probably some of the best shows since when I was in bands of my life. I mean, people were literally.
So what made it so different from
It held 90 people legally, but there would be about 150 in there.
Oh my gosh!
And people were standing over heads, like there were people crowd surfing in a room that holds 100 people.
I mean, so against codes and whatever.
Definitely not OSHA safe. Yeah,
right. One door in. I mean, typical like late 80s. I mean, tiny little stage. I mean, and the crowd is like literally like. I mean, there weren't any bouncers there. I mean, we did shows there. There was another place I was at. We played with Potato 5 and somebody else, and a friend of ours, Jeff Motch, who worked at KCR at the college radio station at State. It was it was also on the same street, University, and it was called it was at La Posta Hall.
It was La Posta, and it was I think it was right next to a Pizza Hut,
right?
And it was like part of now it's a part of a indoor farmers market or something along those lines.
Yeah,
and I just remembered I remember Buster coming in. We opened up for Bad Manners, and Buster's like commented immediately, like, "This place smells like fucking piss, mate." Like there was something going wrong in the like, sorry to cuss, but that was what, that's what he said. Buster is legendary. What can you say?
Yeah, many a story.
The FCC
he didn't mince the words.
For cussing. FCC won't find you. Yeah. So the next question for both of you, legendary Makeda. I ran into her this past week. Yes. What role did and still play during as a promoter, radio host, promoter? During this, in terms of ska and reggae, what role has she played historically? Oh, to hear from you. I know what. So if you could tell the audience or the listening audience.
From me, I gave 3 hours of my life every Sunday night to Reggae Makossa on 91X.
Right.
Honestly, like with the fullest respect, and she gave many of us an education. I mean, I would have a pad of paper and a pencil to write down the names of the bands she was talking about.
Wow.
Because if I hadn't heard Aswad yet, how would I know? How would a kid from San Carlos in California know anything about Aswad until she played it?
Right.
I wouldn't know about Rita Marley's records. I probably wouldn't have known about Steel Pulse. But the first time I heard like Maka Spliff, like, I need to buy this record. The first time I heard anything from True Democracy, Your House, favorite song ever for me. One of like my top 5 ever in my life. I had to go buy True Democracy.
Right.
So she is the
institution
force
foundation for
many thousands of people here, and now online too.
Right.
All that said, too, I married my wife at World Beat Center. We got married and had our reception at World Beat Center.
Wow. Yeah.
So that,
and she's been running the World Beat Center for seems like eternity. I know you took me there
at 2 different locations as well. She had
I see. Right. There was a
the one really close, like literally 4 blocks away from the Casbah, near downtown San Diego. Right. And then there's the one in one of the old water towers, storage towers at Balboa Park.
Yeah.
Right next to the Centro Cultural de la Raza. These 2 different big round buildings. Yeah.
Makeda, going back to originally full circle, I knew Makeda from my dad. So my dad, all the countercultural people kind of, all the cool people in the 70s in conservative San Diego knew each other. So my dad knew Makeda in the 70s. My dad was not a vegetarian, but, Makeda opened the first, there was the Prophet, but I think there was a predecessor, respect Makeda, but there was a restaurant before Makeda opened the first full vegetarian restaurant in San Diego, I believe in 1974, 1975.
Wow.
So my dad knew, people would just hang out there. My dad would hang out with his friends and eat vegetarian food. My dad knew Makeda from there. So it's funny when hook up with Makeda, he's like, yeah, I know Makeda. And then I agree with John, the thing is with Makeda, it's like, music is music, but Makeda, it's like, Makeda is so deep in terms of eclectic artists that we all, love. Naturally, they're Jamaican artists, but you have to understand, I mean, Makeda was, Fela Kuti played here once in San Diego with Azimuth, the Brazilian band, opening up, and I believe Judah Starr, the reggae band. Who was the promoter of Fela Kuti at the Jackie Robinson YMCA? My friends, that was Makeda. Right. And then going back, I mean, Makeda was doing, jazz shows, Makeda was doing, like Gil Scott Heron, that was in Makeda, you guys know this. I just like to educate people.
I didn't. I didn't know. I couldn't know.
Yeah. Junor and Eric, you probably caught it. I remember a lot of those shows like in the 80s where, again, the reggae acts, you'd have on the same bill, you'd have a Jamaican act, you'd have Gil Scott Heron, you'd have the Last Poets, you'd have
That's
Makeda
legends
did
there.
that. Makeda did that one show that was a killer tour. She mixed Gil Scott Heron and Ling Quincy Johnson together.
Yeah, no, we didn't see that up
No,
here.
I didn't see that. Wow.
Yeah.
Or maybe I wasn't in town as yet. Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I mean Makeda was doing shows, with Pharoah Sanders and things like that, so I mean love Makeda, Fred for so long and family, rest in peace to Majali, who sad when he passed. The other camp with radio, and he said to say hello is I want to give big ups to Elliot Lieb and the Trade Routes,
We're gonna
crew.
talk about Elliot.
That's actually
Yeah, and anyways, we're all family here, man.
Yeah.
And so John used to go there too. So Elliot Lieb is a old friend of everybody here on the podcast, and he had a store called Trade Routes Reggae.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And we would just all go and
he had a
in the
couple
Trade Routes and-
locations for a little while too.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So we would go into. John could tell about John, myself, and Kevin would go in there, and Elliot or one of the guys would make the little mixtapes,
Yes.
And
I had so many cassettes from there. Loved them.
so Makeda and Damaj had their crew, but there was a whole other crew with John alluded to a guy named Dave Allard. So Elliot's crew was Elliot Lieb and Dave Allard, and there was a guy who had a radio show, Major Chris. And that was another reggae show that was called Reggae Boom. And
what time period is this now? Because I never heard of that guy.
Say it one more time.
I've not heard of Chris. What time period?
That is John. Reggae Boom is in the late 80s, early 90s. Yeah,
Early 90s.
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just know, like, I always would have to go to Dave Allard at Lou's Records in Encinitas as the fountain of knowledge.
Right. Yes.
Like because he would take, I believe, yearly trips to Jamaica.
Oh.
And he would buy like white label vinyl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. I remember that.
So I'm like, I don't even know what it is, but if you think it's good, I'm going to buy one for me. Yeah.
Right. Right. Yes.
Those guys were good. All that crew of reggae jocks, in terms of when we got John and Kevin and myself, we got deeper and deeper into the music. They were good at things that were off the mainstream or eclectic things, like getting to hear them. I mean, I remember probably on a Reggae Boom show first hearing Lenny Hibbert.
Wow.
And, I was like, whoa, like, what is this? These are the classic Studio One rhythms with vibes over them. And it's, it's roots and it's rock steady, but it has, he has like a Milt Jackson, a Bobby Hutcherson, thing going, man. And it's all the Studio One players. So again, like, we would get deeper, Kevin and John and myself, Lenny Hibbert and Cedric Brooks, some of those like eclectic records he did. Yeah. And I mean, I think those guys, either Reggae Makossa or Boom, Ernest Ranglin, that was my first turning on, to, I mean, there was a period, when, Ranglin, he was still doing things, but he hadn't done the records yet on Island Jamaica Jazz.
Sure.
And I'm not saying Ranglin was in obscurity, but you really had to be a connoisseur to know about Ranglin. Yeah.
Right. I agree. I second it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's an instrumentalist. He's not a singer. So, very talented to know.
Right.
But props to him, he arranged that Millie Small song in '64 that really and truly put Jamaican music on the map.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, wasn't Ranglin, I mean, from Ernest Ranglin from 1962 to like 1970, I mean, Jamaican records, I mean, he was on like 65% of records. I almost want to say like Ranglin was, like how they have the Wrecking Crew here, right? John, do you agree? Like, Ranglin was like, it was like, I know all, those, the different, the Scotalites and the Ranglins, and I know he's there in LA, Santa and various people like that. I mean, that was, those were the guys, man.
Yeah, his foundation.
Indeed.
Foundation.
When do you all remember seeing more of the late 80s, early 90s LA-based ska groups come into San Diego, like at the traditional side? Like the Jump with Joey's, the Hepcats, some of those groups.
It kind of didn't hit San Diego. I mean, Gangbusters, and then for me, Colorblind, and then Unsteady. We were opening up for those bands, but more
you were coming up here.
Yeah, it was always us going up. If it wasn't Tijuana or at the universities, they couldn't afford true headlining groups to come down.
Okay.
You know, if it was Joey, it was usually LA. Spankies. There we go. Let's go into that.
Oh, right, in Riverside.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we would always trip up to Riverside to be at those Spankies shows, pre-showcase, in fact. And that sounded like a racquetball court, and it was hot as hell, if you remember that. But it was also legendary at the same time, because you'd see a band like a young, very young Hepcat.
Yes. And
gosh, I'm sure Steve will remember more of the band's names on those gigs. I just remember, like, I can't be in. I'm an idiot, and I'm fat, and I'm wearing a bomber jacket, you know, with steel-toed docks and long pants, and sweating my ass off in that room. So I could only be in there long enough to play, and then I'd have to sit outside. So I got to hear Hepcat from outside.
I remember Mobtown played there.
Mobtown, yes,
yeah.
Spanky's was weird because, again, I agree with John, but that room was the weirdest. That stage, do you remember? It was like you walk in, and why did they not put that like in the back of the room? The stage was like 3/4 of the way in the room, and like people can literally like. You were playing facing one way, but people were walking like all around you, side and whatever. And there was like a kitchen or Izat. He was a nice man, rest in peace and all that. But that room was like, it was hot as shit. But the stage layout, I remember getting there and was like, this is kind of odd, like stage play. I mean, John and myself are both in the business now, and it's like other side of the business, and that was kind of odd. So, but Spanky's was great. My memories of the traditional bands. I remember Kevin Manuel was very good friends due to the skinhead thing and the scooter thing. But rest in peace, our friend, Greg Lee. Kevin was real close with Greg, and there was all these legendary what were they called? Santa Cruz skinheads, Boots and Booze, like that whole crew of people. So. I believe Hepcat before they were called Sharpville Steps, I think.
Yeah, some of the guys running that, right?
Mm.
Yeah, and that wasn't Alex. I think that was just Greg. So, and but no, I remember like meeting Greg and Alex and seeing them, at all the gigs, and they were always there, Donkey Show gigs and Gangbusters gigs, and suddenly there was like, oh, there's this new band, that's playing traditional ska. I have a flyer, and one of those flyers, they weren't called Hepcat. It says the Hepcats.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but they were doing their thing, and then Jump with Joey. I used to go to the legendary club on La Brea, the King Club.
King, yes.
And so we would go there on the Jump with Joey on the Sunday nights, and the days when you could, in your younger years, when you would drive 2.5 hours to a club or a concert, and come back in the same night, and we would just do it, man. So we heard about this band called Jump with Joey, so we went to the King, and got in. It was kind of cool to get in and everything like that. And seeing Jump with Joey to me was like a revelation. Because to me, all the music's John and myself, like a lot of the music, like I was raised on jazz and swing and Latin music, and then tying in with the ska and reggae thing. Incredible. It's like Jump with Joey, like nailed it, man.
It's the best two flavors together. It's like, so Pres Prado, but we're going to do it ska. Oh, okay. Right.
I mean, I started listening to, my dad was into it, but I started getting heavy into Afro-Cuban jazz and Latin jazz and mambo and salsa, like in the late 80s, early 90s. and I heard this band, and without an effort, they would go from traditional ska to Latin boogaloo to cha-cha to mix it up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you the same thing again, man. And it was like effortless. I mean, the horn players, it's like little like way ahead of the curve, like bebop voicings and the horn lines. And I mean, in the chemistry between Joey Altruda and Willie McNeil, it's like, forget about it, man.
Dangerous.
Just like forget about it. That's like, that's like we're talking about Nibs and Brevet, man. Yeah. It's like when you with like a rhythm section, those guys bass and drums, you see that. I mean, that's magic.
Yeah, no,
that's like straight up magic. That's like Nibs and Brevet, Altruda and McNeil, or Miles Davis, Ron Carter, and Tony Williams. It's that sort of thing, man. Yeah. So,
John, touch on some of the highlights when Unsteady was in its crucial years.
Gosh, what do I remember? I mean, we kind of did a lot of that same circuit again too, but with all the bands that we didn't get a chance to play with, and then there was this quote unquote third wave thing happening, which I was like, whatever. I'm still trying to do what I've been trying to do for 10 years already now. At this point, I mean, I went through 30 different people in the group over the course of like 3 years. That's a ska band.
The village
curse, right? It's a blessing or a curse on that.
Yes.
We just played everything that was on the circuit and played with all the bands, but a broadened number of bands because it had a whole different audience of people.
Right.
Like it's amazing how like a 5-year difference can create an entirely new generation and then change things around to where there's an Aquabats, then a Real Big Fish, then a Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
True. Right.
And all this stuff that like we didn't necessarily have anything. I think we had more in common with two-tone bands and with some, Jump with Joey or Scottolites than we did with the more third wave quote unquote stuff.
Right. And I would see you guys primarily when you would come up here and play some of Lewis's Steady Beat shows.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like the weather in South Dakota, just listen to 2 songs, maybe you'll like them. If you don't like these, just hold on. We'll be playing something completely different about that.
So pardon my ignorance, is the band still functioning?
Unsteady?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, actually, we are playing this coming Sunday at the Casbah.
Just in time for this.
So is there a reunion, or are you guys playing regularly?
Well, we not as regularly. I'd say quarterly at this point.
Okay.
Because when you're not paying, it's really hard to get people together. But actually, I gathered 3 saxes for my horn section this time. Why not make a whole sax insanity thing happen?
Yeah.
So I got Ed Croft, actually original from NE1, the band that Steve was talking about earlier, is playing Barry sax on this one. So yeah, that's going to be fun.
And where is this show?
At the Casbah on Laurel and Kettner.
And that is
I'm going back to a place that I played 40 almost years ago, 38 years ago.
and that is with Unsteady. Then 1 week later,
yes,
we have
we're playing with Chris Murray.
Sorry, the Orange County debut. Is that correct? Of Smoke Mirrors Soundsystem.
We did play the OC Fair opening up for English Beat a year ago or so.
The Orange County smaller venue debut. How about that?
Well, I don't even know if anybody knew we were playing that other gig. It was kind of
Smoke Mirrors Soundsystem.
So they didn't credit you guys on the flyer.
No, we were just the Orange County Fair with the English Beat. You guys want to open? Sure.
But that's a big thing. And you should demand that they put you
I do remember that. This is Continental Room, December 7th in the afternoon, Ska Mania sessions.
We are looking forward to that. So it's 4 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Yes.
Come early.
Chris Murray will be in there.
Yeah.
We'll be doing what we do.
Ragged sound.
Sound.
bringing the
Junor
full
Francis.
11-piece band, which is ridiculous. I don't know how we're going to fit on there. Probably half on the floor.
We'll make it work. Steve,
And that's the
come on
last
to
one. That's the
tank.
last one for 2025.
Yes,
Love it. Thank you for having
ending
us,
the year
too.
with a bang.
Yeah.
But so speaking of Smoke Mirrors Soundsystem, you guys just continue to just crank out. I don't have to tell you, John, but crank out such amazing songs. Many renditions, like covers that I didn't know I needed to hear covered, and some amazing 80s new wave type songs. I mean, just look at that.
Yeah, and a cover record. Yes. Yeah, I started the label Escape Hatch Records because I was insane. I wasn't losing enough money. I wanted to lose more. So now we're up to release number 28, I believe.
Congratulations.
Wow.
In 3 years.
Wow.
But I'm out of my mind. We've slowed down a bit. We're only going to do like 5 releases next year.
All right.
I was like, okay, that's enough for now.
Right.
And speaking of Escape Hatch Records, we did put out the Gangbusters record that had never been released.
Yes.
And
how is the sale on that?
There are
Never before release. How is the sale?
I'm sorry?
How is the sale? SALE. Sales. Is it selling?
Oh, well, it's gone. It's sold out.
So it's sold out. So
I was like, what? Oh, it's gone.
Nice.
You'll have to ask Steve if he's got a copy.
I just did.
I think I did give Junor a copy.
Yeah, because I think I have one copy that my wife said, hold on to that one copy.
Yeah.
So that is repressing.
I'm fine to repress it if the other 7 individuals would be fine with repressing. How about that?
There we go. There we go.
It has to be
collective
decision. All right.
Gotta pay respect.
That if I get that Gangbusters record, I just it's kind of, I like to use the word serendipity. I think it's a cool word, and I think that the Gangbusters record, the music is great on it, but the story behind it is interesting because I think as things happen, bands. Luckily, most of us in the band are still friends, which is awesome. We're over half of the band, like, we're still involved either in the music industry, different things. And I think that record's real special because at that point, our band was like firing on all cylinders when we recorded that record. Yeah. And we went into like one of the nicest studios in San Diego. We somewhat took our time back in the day in 1990. I remember like Keys, like VJ, the keyboard player at the time. It was a big deal. He was playing like a Hammond B3 organ through a Leslie. I mean, that was a big deal, in 1990. They're all original, like ska, reggae, rocksteady songs. And we recorded this record. And then 6 months later, the band, imploded. As things do, people left. And that record, John, how long did that record sit in the can for? How many years?
23.
Wow.
Yeah, I quit, and Kevin quit in 90.
Okay.
And then we started Colorblind.
Yeah. So that record.
So we were like, yeah, we're good. We'll make our own music. You guys have fun. Bye.
Yeah. Anyways, so that record sat in the can, and anyways, finally, people were like kind of bugging us, saying, heard about that record, need to put that record out. And, thanks to the, what John is doing, the label and all that, the stars happened to be aligned. And I believe 1.5 years, 2 years ago, got the record mastered, and everybody was on the same page with releasing the record. And John put the record out, so we're sold out.
All it takes is I'll pay for the whole thing. I'll give you all copies. I have no rights to anything digital, and half the records will go to the people that played on the records. And I'll give there you go.
And if it's not a closely guarded secret, about how many copies you sold?
200 were made.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because I also was like, oh, you know what? If I'm paying this much for these records,
right,
I will actually make zero profit, and it's just going to be a wash. But at least it will have been made. So there are 200 of those records.
Publicity for your label, right?
Yeah. So how have you guys seen the ska scene evolve over the years? Like, is it earlier, John, you mentioned when we were talking about Tijuana and just San Diego that it's a fairly small scene. Has it been small throughout the last few decades?
I think it's gotten smaller than expanded. You know, expansion, contraction, expansion, contraction.
Right.
Generation comes up.
Yeah.
Generation goes down. People gain interest, lose interest. I think for, a small minority of people, as in every community in the United States, really, there's always going to be a diehard group of people, be it a dozen people or 1,200 people.
Yeah. Right.
That are they're living. It's a lifestyle, like I feel like you guys are part of the lifestyle in that sense too, continuing it.
Right.
And for folks that ascribe to it and that understand it and want to know more about it.
Yeah.
So is
that a bad thing?
I think it's fantastic. I love it being, I would rather it being widely popular, but also by the same token, if you can find a dozen people in every city in the United States and then every city across the world, all together with the magic of technology, we actually have a pretty cool scene, even though it's, like, for instance, Junior, you being an MC at Supernova, and I went to Supernova twice and got to see you do what you do and got to see all these bands that I never get to meet or talk to or be in the same place with.
Yeah.
So a summit like that, more things like that should be, Peter Clem doing Freedom Sounds in Cologne, Germany. Like, there are people like that are putting forth their energy, like you guys are doing, to perpetuate this and keep it going.
Yeah.
So
the West Coast needs a festival similar to Supernova, but it takes love because there's no money being made.
Yeah, and always recognize that there's no money in there. Yeah,
I know. Well, speaking of Supernova, veterans of San Diego, Buck 09, right? Played Supernova, so props to Buck 09.
My van carried their merchandise.
I love the music. I maybe not as involved as much as I'm more. My life, the last 30 years, I'm a promoter and talent buyer. I, booked various venues, Venue 4th and Bede, the North Park Theater, which is now the Observatory. I do big all ages, community festivals here. I love doing it. Yeah. But I got to give my friend John his props, for Jamaican music in San Diego, like keeping the flame and being very, passionate about it. So, all due respect, John, even John does little things like I saw John brought that band I saw a few months ago from Minnesota, the Prize Fighters.
Yes. Really yes. They're good.
I was unaware of this band.
They're good. Great.
And I mean, that was all, John's doing. It was funny. John was joking around on stage, it's like, right. They're sleeping on the, I'll have more people come into my pad and, you can sleep in the garage, and whatever. And, respect to John, that's what he does. And I didn't know those guys from the Prize Fighters. They were younger. We had a few mutual people in common, but I saw the Prize Fighter and my ears are tuned in. I like what I like, in my somewhat older age, but the Prize Fighters were awesome, man. They were good, man. They saw them at
Supernova. Really,
they nailed it, man. They were nice guys, and they were, I love what they do. There are some bands here in San Diego, but you're saying me with newer bands in Jamaican style, some playing ska. John with his Smoke Mirrors is awesome. I mean, it's like a all-star lineup of people he has in his band who have played with, the guitar player Brian Jordan has played with everybody from Lauryn Hill to Carl Denson to a gazillion people, and I mean, just John has really John is an amazing bands, but this project he has, I mean, guys who are amazing. So Smoke Mirrors, they need to play more in LA. Kind of the Rocksteady early reggae band, the Mochilero All Stars.
Yep, we're playing with them on Sunday as well at the Casbah.
Nice.
And they're favorites of mine. Anytime I can get them on a bill, I want them.
I know. And then both you guys, both bands are opening for the Slackers when they come to San Diego, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the Mochileros, and I know he's out with Gogo Bordello, but Corey's Corey Kingston's Shuffle and Bang band,
with his dad, right,
is good, and that's I mean, because Corey has the Gogo Bordello commitment, but anytime Corey's Shuffle and Bang band plays, it's kind of a rare thing for them to play, but
right.
That's another band, and John knows the musicianship in Shuffle and Bang is just killer, man, and that's good too because they mix in some jazz and swing and Afro-Cuban, and it's a good band.
I try to poach a bunch of those players on my recordings.
They're great. And then the other
the Amalgamated, they stick with the traditional.
Yeah.
They stick with the traditional.
Yeah.
There's another band I used to work with in the mid say about a decade ago. I can't remember the name, but they were pretty good as well. Traditional.
Yeah, the Amalgamated. I've been the last few times they played for me on a few festivals, and they really fine tune what they're doing. And they're great at what they do too.
Yeah.
Thankfully, if Steve has mercy on me, he puts me on his festivals too. So thank you. Right on. We get to play on a good stage for a good sound system and people. Yes, thank you.
I love that. Unfortunately, we're nearing our destination, and we can go on and on and on. Steve, what else is it important for you to share with our viewers and listeners?
I think Jamaican. We're talking about pretty much how ska, rocksteady, reggae came into our lives, and I encourage you to discover the music. There's again some of these names that we talked about. Google them, go deep into their catalog. I mean, there's, whether it's roots or dub or rockers or rocksteady or ska. I mean, go in there and respect to the big names. But again, Ernest Ranglins and Cedric Bookses and Lenny Hibberts. These are the guys that really are the as Junor said, in a way, they're like the DNA of Jamaican music.
Indeed.
And if you dig deep into it, man, you're going to see, on your favorite Bob record or your Jimmy Cliff record or your Toots record, or you're going to see their name as a musician or an arranger or various things. Ansel Collins, that's another one, man.
Yeah.
I mean, again, your the friend in there in the San Fernando Valley, the amazing drummer, Santa Davis.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just, in meeting Santa, the times I've spoken to him, nice, humble, approachable man. But the history of Jamaican music, man, it's pretty magical, what these guys have done. So just keep digging and exploring, and it'll open your mind.
And you mentioned Ansel Collins, and I heard from reliable source that he made the Bam Bam rhythm.
Wow. Okay.
Nice.
Wow.
I can't verify, but he's the originator.
Yeah.
Double Barrel, man.
Take that credit. Take that credit.
Yes,
Indeed,
yes.
Double Barrel, man. A lot.
Yeah, Roll the British Start.
Right.
Yeah, a record that changed and make a lot of people form bands and things like that. So yeah.
John?
I think in perpetuation of this music too, and in the influences of it, I buy records from Junior Dell and the D-Lights from the UK. Fantastic stuff. Pachiman. I like 4 or 5 of his records. We've opened for him. I love what he does.
Yeah.
He's perpetuating that feel. It has the King Tubby meets brain fart.
Rockers?
Lee Perry.
Yeah.
He'll do that. Scientist is still out there doing it, killing it in Europe. So you got to check out these people. There are people still playing. We lost Jimmy Cliff, but there are still original Jamaican players out there. The music of the Scotolites is being played by the Scotolites. Go check them out. Go see it. Dubmatix is doing stuff for dub music. DM Khan is up in Vancouver creating dub music. Like, there's so many people that are still working hard to do this. Old Neighborhood Records.
Interestingly enough, you guys in San Diego get a lot of bands that don't come up to Los Angeles. San Diego is really a hardcore reggae town.
It's interesting.
A lot of bands.
It's very interesting.
Gentleman would pack venues in San Diego, but struggle in LA.
I find that I struggle getting on those shows because I don't even know if people are understanding what it is that I'm trying to do.
I want to shout out real quick. I'll make it real quick. One more of the new generation, and I know you guys might have emceed the show or whatever. And I know the Lions were when they were around were the backing band.
Big time.
I want to shout out. She played my festival. I want to shout out Holly Cook.
Oh, big time.
Yes.
I mean, when I saw Holly Cook, and it was so nice working with her. And I mean, if you want to know about Holly Cook, research her pedigree and her dad and her, who her godfathers are and things like that. I mean, but Holly Cook, nice girl, sweetest girl in the world, amazing voice, and whatever band she works with, she knows respect to her music. She brings it.
Yes.
So send her my way.
I'd love to see that. And John, somebody who does know Smoke Mirrors Soundsystem, who respects and loves what you do, is one Don Letts.
He is fantastic. The Rebel Dread, the legend, the Rebel Dread. I'm actually working on This Is Bad, the first BAD record, but I'm creating rhythms and using some of the old school rhythms, but that work within those songs from 1985. But I'm turning it all into more of a reggae and dub centric thing. So I'm still looking for more people to sing and to chat, but hopefully Angelo's coming with Chris to San Diego on Saturday to record. And I've got Chris already on like three of the tunes on that record.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Chris Dowd of Fishbone. Ranking Joe just gave me just a wicked track.
Wow.
And for that album. And then Cooley Rank said when he's free after the 1st of December, he's gonna track on this tune for me as well.
So you make the tracks or the musicians give you a track? You mentioned Ranking Joe gave you a track.
I create the tracks.
Oh, you create the track.
Yeah, I create the tracks. Like, I listen to all the original Big Audio Dynamite tracks, and I'm like, okay, well, this was a little bit more drum machine, pseudo hip hop oriented. I want to take it in a direction that Don would enjoy, because I know that Don Letts loves dub. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to create these rhythms. And we're going to get people to chat on top of it and create dub versions of these songs too.
And you have live musician or
oh yes,
computer?
Oh yes. That's the thing, is the concept is like, I will go out there alone because I'm cheap. If one guy shows up with a laptop or a mixer, I can do that, or we can do the combo with 4 or 5 people.
Nice.
Like a dub combo where it's drums, bass, me doing the mixing, like pretending that I'm Tubby, and then getting maybe one more instrumentalist or vocalist in there. But then there's the 11-piece version.
Right.
Which always loses a great deal of money every show. It's fantastic.
Unfortunately.
But I mean, I have to do it. It's some people adopt the highway, some people go on big vacations.
Yes, some people go to space.
Yeah, well, not me.
Useless.
Not me. I'm going to play this music instead.
That's right.
We can't wait for
tremendous admiration for you.
For more big things to come. And Steve and John, we really appreciate you both taking the time.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, we need to see you in person sometime. Maybe we'll see you up in Fullerton on December 7th.
Yeah. We'll
How often do you make it?
See you at a show in the SoCal area.
There we go.
And Steve, I heard from not so reliable source that you have relatively deep pocket. Maybe you should do something similar to what they're doing, Supernova is doing, you know.
I know. Let's all put these minds together and, you know.
Well, I know a guy
legends.
with a sound system. You know, we can
There we go. There we go.
And I think I know a guy with MC.
I gotta have some. We
gotta there already.
We have our festival. We gotta have bring some legends out like that are still with us, like Ranglin and Carlos Malcolm.
Those
and
two,
things like
Ranglin,
that, man.
I think retire, right?
Ranglin, yes.
Ranglin semi-retired, but maybe we could coax him out.
We know we know what you're talking about. Yeah, guys, thank you so much. We appreciate the time and taking us down memory lane.
Thank you for having us. It's great.
So anything you guys are working on that we didn't give you a chance to talk about that you might want a concert?
Actually, tomorrow I'm in about 12 hours. I'm going to Oceanside to record the first video for Matt Hensley's new Rocksteady band, the A100s.
Right.
I recorded all the saxes for the record, and Keith on trumpet from Mariachi El Bronx did all the trumpet parts on that record.
And Roger Rivas is involved with this, right?
I'm sorry?
Roger Rivas, I think.
Yes, yeah, he engineered all of this stuff, and I believe he mixed the album too.
Amazing. Exciting.
And it's great. It's got it's actually so Matt Hensley, Jason, and Mark McLemore were in Spy Kids with me in 1990, right after I'd left Gangbusters.
All right.
So it's sort of like a mini reunion in that sense as the rhythm section.
Right.
Matt, instead of playing guitar or accordion from Flogging Molly, Matt will be playing an A100.
Wow.
A Hammond. I don't know if he'll bring his Leslie, but we'll see. We'll find out tomorrow.
That's exciting.
So that should be fun. We're going to have a listening party for that record. It hasn't been released yet.
Okay.
I think it's going to come out on Pirates Press.
Okay.
And that bar. Oh gosh, it's in Oceanside. Poorhouse. Thank you.
Nice.
So yeah, we're doing the video at the Poorhouse and outside the Poorhouse.
Wonderful.
And then we're going to have a sort of listening party at I think 5:00, and then I'm going to do a live dub set for probably an hour or two.
Nice.
Should be fun.
Very cool.
And if you I know of a place in Los Angeles that you can do similar. You can give that some thought.
I would love that.
Weekends are a little bit challenging, but midweek, yeah.
I'm okay with that too. I can play hooky from work. That's fine.
Yeah.
Right.
And Steve, closing thoughts?
Or project you're working on?
Just keep digging for the music, you know.
I love that.
Gaining new inspirations, man, and keep the faith, man.
There we go. That's perfect.
And then,
gentlemen, thanks for representing San Diego, in certain terms. Thanks to everyone for their ongoing support. Those who watch and listen, want to thank them. Hope to grow this into something larger than life, because it's definitely worth it. Additionally, please subscribe to this podcast series and our YouTube channel. Follow us at History of LA Ska on Instagram and join our Facebook group. This series is produced by my good friend here, Eric Kohler.
And Junior.
For Rockery Radio.
Junior, thank you for all you do. John, Steve, until next time, we really appreciate everyone's ongoing support. And we encourage you, please do your part to celebrate and to preserve the scene. And I'll leave you with this. Come on out, put on your dancing shoes, and enjoy yourself.
And if you don't support it, it will go the way of the dinosaur.
Indeed it will. Much love and be well. Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care now.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.